Hey everybody, I'm Benjamin, aka the Terrible Australian of supermarcy.com, and this is my video review of Aloha, which is the new comedy drama written and directed by Cameron Crowe. So let's get right into it. You know, like a lot of film fans out there, I enjoy Cameron Crowe's films. I think he's a really good filmmaker. I mean, he's made a lot of great films in the past, like Say Anything, Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, which I think is his best film, and also, in my opinion, Vanilla Sky, which I felt was a great film and also a very underrated one of that. But at the same time, though, he has made some films that I wouldn't say that weren't that great. Some of them not too bad, like they were fine, but others not so good. I know a lot of people liked Singles, but I wasn't really a big fan of that film, and also I know a lot of people didn't like Elizabethtown, but I actually didn't mind that one. So that makes me a terrible Australian. And also his last, film, We Bought a Zoo, which I thought was a solid film, but but it's not as great as it could have been. But at the same time, though, Cameron Crowe's a filmmaker who only brings out a film every couple of years or so. So any time that he's got a project in the works that's about to come out soon, there's a bit of an anticipation for that. And so his latest film, Aloha, which is something he's been working on for a few years now, is finally unleashed. And I have to say, I feel really bad. I think this is without a doubt his worst film that he's made so far. And I know a lot of people consider Elizabethtown his worst, but trust me, that is like a masterpiece compared to this film. This movie was awful. Like, I couldn't believe that this film was made by Cameron Crowe. Like, it's not to say Cameron Crowe doesn't have, his flaws and all that as both a writer or a director, but this film kind of feels like I honestly don't get this movie. Like, this is one of those films where I felt like there was enough plot in this film to have, you could easily have taken some of the subplots out of this film, and they could have easily have been a film on their own. There's a lot. This movie is just way too overplotted, and I think that was the downfall of this film. It seems like, and especially in a short running time, though, I mean, the film only goes for about 105 minutes, so an hour and 45 minutes. But it feels like it's trying to cram in so much stuff in its story that it just becomes a completely jumbled, disjointed, and tonally uneven mess. And this film is a complete, utter mess. Like, it took me about even half an hour just to figure out what even is going on in this film, or at least with some of the subplots anyway. I mean, if I had to describe what the plot of this film is to anyone, it would take me at least a few hours to try to explain it. I couldn't even sum up the plot of this film in, like, one sentence. It's not good. Like, it's just so badly written and poorly directed by Crowe, and it's a shame, because you can tell, like, watching this film, that this isn't him, like, on autopilot mode or anything like that, You can tell that he really cares about the characters and the story and sort of the themes that he wants to explore in this film, but it just becomes such a jumbled, disjointed mess that it just doesn't work at all. And it's a shame, because there are elements in it that could easily have been a really good film. If it was a lot more focused, then it probably might have been a really good, romantic comedy drama, but it just doesn't work at all. And it's just, this is, if I had to, like, at least in terms of, screenwriting, and if I had to tell people, like, if you want to become a screenwriter and all that, I would point to this film as what you shouldn't be doing with your screenplay, because nothing in this film on a script level works. And it's a shame, because the cast in this film, and it's got a really good cast as well. I mean, you got Bradley Cooper, Emma Stone, Rachel McAdams, Bill Murray, John Krasinski, Danny McBride, and Alec Baldwin, and they all tried to do the best that they can with their roles, but unfortunately it's just the script that really lets them down. But I will say this, though, some of the performances I think do sort of somewhat, only a tiny bit, save this film from being an all-out abomination. And Like, particularly Emma Stone, I thought gave a very lively and wonderful performance in this film, but most of the, but if it wasn't for her character, I don't think this movie would have worked. Oh, and also, John Krasinski, like, his character is sort of a very quiet character who doesn't speak much, but I thought after Emma Stone, he gave sort of the second best performance in the film. And Rachel McAdams is somebody who I really enjoy as an actress, and she does the best that she can with her role, but there's nothing for her to really work with, and Alec Baldwin and Bill Murray and Danny McBride, they're just given nothing to do in this film, and Bradley Cooper, who I like, I think he's a good actor too, but he's just saddled with... I honestly think he's miscast in this film. Like, especially what his character has gone through, like, prior to this film, and where his life is up to at this point in the film. I just didn't really buy that in his performance, so... which is a shame, and also, like, it's not to say the film doesn't have its positive moments. Like I said, besides Emma Stone and John Krasinski kind of give the best performances in the film. And also there is a subplot out of the many subplots in this film between John Krasinski and Rachel McAdams about their marriage, which I actually thought was a very effective subplot on its own. And also there's a really sort of wonderful scene towards the end of the film between Bradley Cooper and John Krasinski, that I actually thought was quite wonderful, and it feels like that. I wish the film was more in the lines of that, and so that's one of the stuff that I like. And of course, this being a Cameron Crowe film, it does have a fantastic soundtrack. Like, a lot of the songs are used effectively well in this film, but other than that, it's just, other than there's very few positive qualities, there's just nothing to recommend about this film. It's definitely Crowe's worst film. I honestly don't know what on earth he was going for with this film. It's just, like I said, if I describe this film, it would be overplotted. And I thought films like, even though I actually did love, like, films like The Dark Knight Rises, I love those films. And even I'll admit that sort of, the story for that film is overplotted. But that feels pretty straightforward and more focused than the plot to this film, like the plot to Aloha. And it sort of wants to try to deal with a lot of things. And I do give credit to Cameron Crowe, because he, at the same time, like, the film's set in Hawaii, and he wants to sort of do a film that's sort of respectful for, the people of Hawaii and their culture, and the sort of mystical aspects of their island. But trying to do that, but at the same time with these other sort of subplots that's sort of much more grounded, it just feels so, like I said, disjointed and uneven and tonally all over the place. And it's just not good at all. It's an awful film, and a really bad screenplay. Like, honestly, if I'd read the screenplay to this film, I probably would have just chucked it out because it was just so badly written. And it's a shame, because Cameron Crowe is such a talented writer and director that I couldn't believe that he came up with this. Like I said, I don't know what he was going for, but it just didn't work at all, and it's a shame. It's definitely a huge disappointment from him, and definitely one of the worst films that he's made so far. And it doesn't surprise me that this is, like, it's a complete misfire, unfortunately. So, if I had to rate Aloha, I'd give it about 1.5. Yeah, it's that bad. Like I said, besides some of the performances and also a couple of really nice moments and the soundtrack, those sort of saved the film enough for me to save the film from me giving it a 1-star rating. So, yeah, so at the moment it's 1.5, and yeah, it's just a huge disappointment. So yep, that's my video review of Aloha. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all later. See you, everyone.